What's going on, guys? Justin, aka Boomer, Beer League Bum, Hockey Reviews, and today I wanted to discuss, does kick point matter? And maybe not so much in the respect to if you should be choosing a kick point based on what you think you should be choosing, but more how to determine what type of stick, feel, and shot you're actually trying to get at. The one thing that drives me a little bit nuts is how sticks are so marketed towards people that they actually will go maybe in the wrong direction based on their shooting style instead on their mental shooting aspect, and that they're thinking, well, I'm a quick forward, I should have a quick release, so I need a Ribcore or a Hyperlite. Or I'm a big defenseman, so I need a huge one-timer from the corner, so I need an ultrasonic or something like that. So instead today I'm going to show you how I came to the realization that kick point doesn't matter so much as shot style and the type of shot that you're getting off constantly. And I'm going to show you through a series of videos of my own personal experience on shots that I've taken over the last little while, on goals that I've had, and how I came to the realization that kick point doesn't matter. It's the type of stick and your shooting style that will help. So let's get into it. Here we go. So what do I mean when I say that kick point doesn't matter? Well, what came to the realization for me recently was my last video I did the Ribcore Trigger 6 versus the Ribcore 76K. Both were low kick sticks. Now on the slappers, they could still hit in the 85 to 88 miles an hour, but the thing that got me very interested is that when I used the Ribcores in a game, I was really struggling to score goals, and I was struggling to get the type of power I get with the FT4. Now, yes, I am 100% an advocate of the FT4 Pro, and I think it's one of the best sticks up there with the LX Pro, but I still believe that the Ribcore and the AS4 are really great sticks. Hyperlite, not so much. It's down in my tier list. However, it still brings something to the table. But what made me realize this was really simple. When I'm shooting with the Ribcore Trigger 6, which is considered a low kick stick, I cannot generate the same power no matter what I do. And my shooting style is indicative of the reason why. Now, when I pick up an AS4, I can generate a lot of power. My slap shots are big, and I feel so much more confident with that. And it's a mid kick. Then with the Hyperlite, I'm actually kind of in between those two, is I'm a little more comfortable, and this type of taper gives me a little bit more of an edge for some reason, and I shoot more consistently. What that made me realize is that the kick point actually doesn't matter. It's the stick type to the shot type. So I'm going to show you right now what I mean on this first shot, and I'm hoping that this video can help you guys choose the type of stick you should be getting based on how you shoot. Alright guys, so first shot here, coming down the right side, I have enough space on the left, so I'm aiming for that, but you'll see how I load the shot and I keep my stick up for a little bit, and then I do a quick release. So usually a lot of shooters, they'll just do the quick snapshot. But with me, I don't generate that kind of power on like a Ribcore with that. So instead with the FT4 Pro that I'm using here, you'll see that I actually raise up a little bit and rely on the stick's power and that hybrid kick point to get as much off as possible. This is the first example that I'm talking about. Let's get into another one. All right, let's go to my trigger now. Been going back and forth just working on this video. So on these two shots here are both what I would consider quick release shots that I'm trying to get off. One from the left side, again, one from the right side. And they use a different shooting style. And as soon as I go to my same shooting leg as I am right-handed, which would be your off leg, I do not generate the same kind of power. It's actually a quicker shot on the ice. You know, I get it off fast, but actually there's not much on it. And that's with me using the Ribcore. My shooting style is just not set up for generating power out of this part of the hosel. I require the entire stick to flex, or the stick to provide me with the ability to flex in the hybrid kick point in two different areas to maximize my shot. That's why those two shots were not that great. They're actually just 5-hole goals because I caught the goalie off guard, for example. So does kick point matter? And yes, of course it does, but it's not in the way that you should be choosing your stick. You would think that I'm a fast guy, I have a quick release, I have a decent shot, that I should be going for something like a ribcore because I get in close to the net and I can let things go quickly. But my game calls for the entire flex of the stick flexing. I usually shoot from here all the time. I don't usually have my hands up here like a lot of NHLers do to rely on the quick release hosel. I generate all my power from the full flex of the stick, and that's the type of kick point that works for me and not the low kick for whatever reason. Despite whipping down the wing and trying to get off a quick shot, it just never is the same as it is when I'm trying to get off a quick shot with lots of power on a mid-kick stick. So let's take another couple examples and I'll try and help you guys understand what you should be looking for in the type of stick that you're doing based on your shot style. All right, guys, so here's another one. Classic my style is big shot from the blue line, need to be able to generate a lot of power, quick release, but on a slap shot. And with the FT4 is I'm generating a lot of power because of where my hands are. You cannot take that shot very well with the ribcore. Trust me, I've tried, it never works. So my shot style is I will take that shot. Most people won't, but the FT4 here gives me that ability to do so. All right, guys, so the opposite here is true. If you're not the type of person that's holding low on the stick and looking for that shot from the blue line, then using an AS4, an FT4, or any mid-kick stick is not going to benefit you because you're not going to be able to load it the way that I am here. So when I'm taking these shots, it's because that's my shooting style. You can see the difference in the radar gun test trials with the FT4 here, hitting a higher miles per hour. And then when I go to the other two, which are the Ribcore and the Hyperlite, is I'm a lot lower because they are built for more of a quick release and don't have that big, huge flex in the hosel of the shaft. So by just choosing the right kick point to my style of shooting, which is big heavy shots with my hand very in the middle of the stick, is I change my shot power from 86 or dropping to a low kick stick to low 80s. So I'm gaining 5 to 8 miles an hour by just picking the right kick point. All right, so let's summarize up this video and hopefully I can help you guys, especially if you're a newer beer leaguer, on what you're looking for here in a kick point. I'm gonna use the CCMs because first of all, they're my top rated sticks, but also they provide 3 different kick points, so hopefully it will help you choose one. Now, I'm gonna first summarize the type of shooter I am, like I have in the video. The hybrid kick point is definitely for the shooter that likes to keep his hands more in the middle of the stick. I don't move them very much. I never shoot from here. It's always from here. It's always at a crouch position, and I'm usually shooting with more of a wind up, not quick release. You'll see in that vid is all my shots, my stick came up at least 2 or 3 feet, and I use as much power and as much body movement as possible. This stick will help me generate the most power. It's not the fastest release like you saw in a couple of those shots, but because there's so much power and weight behind it that's generated from the kick point, is generally I'm scoring with this over, say, a Ribcore. So the hybrid kick, that's the type of shooter. I love it. It's awesome. Now, the other stick that works for me is, of course, going to be the mid kick, because for me, I'm shooting from the middle of the stick. I'm using that power. That's what I'm generating. Now, I did notice that between the two, I get a quicker release with this and definitely have to load it less. So for me, it works slightly better. However, when I break an FT4 or something, I always go to my AS4 and I only notice a small marginal difference in terms of my shot release. Power is generally the same. It just takes me a little bit more effort to do so. The mid kick stick is also really good for the guy that has more time. You know, if you're the defenseman and you can shoot, you like to get off the big power bomb, then these two sticks are going to be for you, and that's how it is. Now, let's talk Ribcore. Of course, the Ribcore is going to be for the faster type of player that wants the quick release. However, this is the type of shooter that keeps the hands up close and does the quick shot to make sure that he's just using mostly blade and using the lower end of the stick here. This type of stick is, you know, the Phil Kessel shooter, the Line shooter. That's the type of style that these types of players use. They drag it in close to the body with a quick little shot, and they don't raise the stick very much. That's the type of shooter. If that's your shot style, you do not like to raise the stick much, you just like that quick little shot, this will help. This is not the ideal stick for the type of shooter like me who has his hands midway up the stick and likes to load it, you know, 2 or 3 feet off the ice. So you'll always know the G3 style Stamkos, if you guys know that. If not, it's a little more old school. That's where I started shooting the way I do. Is the hybrid works really well with the hands up here because it's the huge flex in the stick. It's the longer load time, but the more power. That's the type of shooter you're going to see with a hybrid or like G3, you know, that type of thing. That nice mid kick. That's the hybrid, the Stamkos, you know, the Ovechkin, etc. And then, of course, same with the mid kick is that type of power shooter. So I know kick points can be confusing, guys. It's very challenging to do, but I'm going to tell you right now, the best way to figure out what type of shooter you are is to see which style of stick provides the most shot power and the quickest release to your style of shooting. Because I'll tell you right now, if you're just going to be the guy that's like, I'm a big 250-pound defenseman and I shoot bombs from the blue line, and you go pick up an AS4 and you're wondering what's going on when you realize that you actually hold your hands way at the top of the stick, and from the blue line you're actually doing big dragging wristers. That's why it's not working. That will give you a lot more enlightenment in terms of what's going to work for your shot. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions for me, put it down below. I'd love to know what kind of kick point you guys use, how your shot is, and if you have any videos, definitely link them. I'd love to see how you shoot. And by all means, if you've done a radar gun test, I'd love to see if you can beat me. 88 miles per hour, that's what I'm at right now, but more is coming. Beer League Bum Hockey Reviews, hang tight for more.